proactive and make it about you guys versus about me just standing up here and talking. Because I've been to a million open house like seminars, like from like family reunion and whatnot, and you think you're going to learn about how you convert more leads and all this, and they just tell you got to go put signs out on the streets before your open house. Got to bring a sign-in sheet. You need some balloons to attract people in. That's all great. But we all know that, we've got realtor.ca. As long as we put it in the system, we put our signs out, we are going to get people in. And then it's the whole what's next kind of thing, right? So I don't know if you guys have done a lot of open houses or if you have any particular questions, and also those on the virtual side. If you have anything that you want to talk about, because I'm happy to give my expertise on any of those kind of burning questions you may have.
I guess my thing is, I feel like I have an issue with keeping in contact with them. Like if they're like, let me know if the house is sold and the house doesn't sell.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm thinking, well, I've added people onto my neighborhood watch and then send them the monthly one, but then they'll just randomly call them and just say, hey,
I mean, that's probably what I would do is, what I usually do with follow up is you get your list of people. I always kind of try to leave a piece of information out when I'm at the open house. So instead of having the MLS sheet, the floor plans, the seller's checklist, maybe a copy of the open house or whatever.
Yeah.
I might just have the MLS sheet. And then I'll be like, well, if you sign in, I'll send you the info package. You can just leave your email and your phone number. That way you can have all the information.
Oh.
I just like to leave a little something that gives them a reason to give me their contact number and gives me a reason to reach out to them without it sounding like, hey, do you want to buy this house? Kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So usually I try to keep a little something behind, and then people are more eager to actually leave their contact information and actually respond to your contact afterwards. So I usually start with an email, like day of open house.
Yeah.
Send an email after. Thank you so much for coming by. It was so nice to meet you. There's something you learned about them. Maybe if they had 2 kids with them, it was great to meet you and your husband, your kids, whatever, whoever left their email. That way you kind of make it seem like you remembered something about them and that they were important. They did stand out amongst everyone that came in. And then I would just say, like, here's all the information. The MLS is attached, the floor plans, copy of the home inspection report. If you have any questions, let me know. We usually have a custom website. So here's a link to our custom website. That way you can always reference back to the pictures, the virtual tour, all the information on the property as well. Mm-hmm. And if you have any questions, let me know. For holding offers, I put in there, offer date is X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
If you are interested in offering, let's book a call for, like, let's say the next day kind of thing. That way we can chat strategy. And then I always kind of usually try to throw a little paragraph in there. If this is not the one for you, I know the area really well. I'm happy to help wherever I can. I'm happy to get you set up on a email search list so you can keep up to date with all the properties that are coming up in this pocket. As a buyer, my real estate expertise and knowledge are always free to you. And I always like to include that because people don't know. You think people would know, but they don't know. And when people hear free, everyone likes the word free, right? So I always like to include that at the end. I try not to make it too wordy so people actually read everything through. And I have actually done pretty well with converting people. The last open house I did last week, and I've got 2 listing appointments out of it. Oh, and I'm actually after this running to go show one of the people the house again. So we will see. So it's just a matter of sometimes it's luck. Sometimes it's literally just pure luck that you get people that walk in that don't have a real estate agent and they're interested in the house. Yeah. And they get along well with you, right? Or they don't know any better. You're the expert standing there telling them about the house, right? You're like, yeah, actually, I do want to know more about this, right?
Yeah. So you would still send them home inspection even if they don't have it?
I usually do. I mean, why not? More information is better. They give some reason to maybe be interested in a house that they might not otherwise not, especially if it's a super clean home inspection report. Yeah. Why not send it over? It doesn't hurt to give more. I always say more is better, right? Same with anything you can do in real estate. The more information you can provide, the more buyers feel comfortable about making a decision, especially in this market that we're in. Right? Buyers have a lot of choice, so they want to choose the house that they don't have to do a lot of work in, the one that doesn't need the roof replaced or the furnace replaced or any of that stuff, right? So that's kind of what I like to do. Yeah. And then in terms of like when people walk in, like something I learned, like Bart always taught me, like just kind of have a general question when they walk. Are you from the neighborhood, or have you been looking for a while? just something like that, just so you can feel out their level of interest.
That's usually what I ask.
Exactly.
This neighborhood.
Yeah, are you a neighbor or have you been looking for a while? Or do you live in the neighborhood? Sometimes what I do, are you familiar with the neighborhood? And then from there, you can kind of start talking. They're like, yeah, I know we live around the block. I'm like, oh, so I don't have to sell you on the neighborhood, that kind of thing. And then usually they just kind of feel the ice broken a little bit and get talking.
Yeah.
One thing I did learn from family reunion, which I kind of really liked, is one of the people said they don't like to give too much information when people first walk in the house.
Yeah.
So they'll say something like, welcome, ask that question. Okay, great. Well, make sure when you look upstairs, like choose like a feature, like, oh, there's a lovely terrace off the primary bedroom. Definitely check that out. And it gives like them a little scavenger hunt of something to look for. And then when they come back down, you can talk about what they were looking at and kind of feel them out at that point. And once they walk through the house, they might have questions. There might be certain things they, really liked or they're not sure about. And that's when you can really start the conversation.
Yeah.
And
that's a good idea.
Exactly. That was one thing I really took away from that. And then it's just also just making sure you really know the house before you actually start doing open house.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to know everything. And there's totally a good reason there to be like, oh, if you just leave your email, I'll definitely get back to you, or leave your phone number, I'll get back to you on that question. But if you know the basics of it, like, the year's bills, when the renovations were done, if any renovations were done, all those kind of big questions that people might have. Oh, is this included? Is that included? I just did an open house for Matt at 12 on Davis. There's a sauna, like a portable sauna in the basement.
Wow.
And it's like, well, people are asking me, is that included? And it's like, luckily I read before, and I'm like, yeah, no, it's not included because they're going to take it with them, that and the gym equipment in the gym.
Yeah.
Right. So, obviously some homes are kind of unique with those kind of features.
Yeah.
Where we all know, like, if you have a house and you tip it upside down and you shake it, anything that stays with the home, anything that falls goes with the sellers. But then there's always exceptions, right? So it is important to know those kind of things. But yeah, those are kind of like my favorite things to do when you're in the house. Is just make sure you know what you're talking about. Send them on that little scavenger hunt kind of thing. So that way they have something to look out for. They're kind of excited to do that. And then when you come back down, you have something to talk about as well.
Yeah.
And then it's just trying to find somewhere to connect along the way as well. Like it's so easy just to have people come in and out. And I know when it gets busy, it's really hard to have those good conversations with people. But if you can find even a little something to connect with people on, it can make a big difference on terms of them actually trusting you and liking you and oh my gosh, yeah, I totally get this person. Like last week, family came in. It wasn't the people that were looking, but they came in with their, brother. It was his brother. The brother and the wife and the two kids were looking to buy, and then the brother and the sister-in-law were just tagging along. So I got talking to the brother-in-law, the brother and the sister-in-law. They're like, oh yeah, we're just here visiting the Cayman Islands. Oh my God, I love Cayman Islands. You would just start talking about that. Then I started connecting with them. So then they were trying to get me to connect with the other people. And then by the end of it, I gave them my card because they were like, oh, we might buy a condo in Toronto because we hate staying in Airbnbs every time we come to visit. I'm like, yeah, no kidding. Now's a great time to buy a condo in the city. And then they were like, as they're leaving, they're like, I'm like, hey, if you guys want me to come by next week to take a look at your house, I'd love to. And then the brothers are just like, no, come right after the open house. Miro, just get Tristin to come over right now. So I ended up going over right after the open house to take a look at their house. Wow, so it's just kind of finding those connections and kind of making your way in. And again, a lot of the time it can just be luck, but I always say luck just meets at the corner of opportunity and hard work, right? And that can be knowledge or just your expertise or the way that you handle yourself or the way that you mold it to the different types of people that you're dealing with. So how about yourself? Did you have any burning questions?
No, nothing. I guess we were just talking before you, Era, and I think that sometimes people say that they have an agent, but they don't know actually who they are going to work with because everybody knows an agent, but not someone particular. And I was wondering, how do you approach those people?
Well, I definitely don't like to step on other people's toes, and I always make that very clear. I don't, if they have something signed or if they've been loyal to this person. I do not want to step on that person's toes because just for best practices reasons. Plus, I would never want that to happen to me. Yeah. If my client's like, well, can give me a good deal, maybe I won't work with Tristin because I never force anyone to sign a BRA with me until we're ready to put in an offer, which I know we're not supposed to do, but I just don't like people feeling forced. It's it's a mutual relationship, right? I want people that want to work with me, and I want people to work with me because they want to work with me, kind of thing, right? So I think if it's kind of like them just saying that because they're just trying to be kind of like, tiptoeing around, like, I just don't want a million emails from you. I don't want a million calls from you.
Yeah.
I just say, well, if there's anything I can do to help, I'm always I'm always happy to help. As like, we always kind of do it like, if like I'm doing an open house at Barb's listing, I'll just tell them as like the listing side, Barb will represent the seller, I'll represent the buyer. That way we always keep an arm's length apart. And if you do decide to work with us, there's always a discount to give it to the seller if we represent both ends. But again, I don't like stepping on anyone's toes. It doesn't come down to that at the end. And I kind of try to feel out whether or not that person that they're working with is someone they have been working with, or just someone that they just are saying that they have an agent because it's their mom's best friend's son, right? So that they've never actually met, but they just wanted to say that because they don't want me to like pressure them into anything. So I just kind of remind them of that. Again, it's not pushing anyone. I don't like to be the pushy salesperson. I hate that. It's like we get those calls on, oh, do you want to Rogers, or Bell? I'm like, no, I don't want to be that person. I want you to work with me because we all get along and we all have fun together. It's a stressful situation buying and selling property, especially in a market like this. Yeah, we should make it fun and we should make it as enjoyable as possible. So again, I don't want to be that pushy person, and no one likes that sleazy real estate agent either, right? So it's just a matter of just kind of, I think our guts are always kind of right when they tell us, okay, this person's seriously been working with this person for a while, or they're just kind of tiptoeing around the fact that they don't want to leave their contact information because they don't want a million emails. And I always tell people, I'm not going to bombard you with emails. I'll send you one, I'll give you a call after, I'll send you a text. And then I just will say in that final text, just let me know if you want me to stop contacting you at this point. Because again, like, it's not like I want to be that person that's gonna get unsubscribed from everything. And I want them to maybe, just because they're not ready to buy now, maybe if 5 months from now, I'll get a random call from them because they're the last person that contacted them and gave them their space when they wanted their space was me, right? Yeah. So I think it's just a respecting to and putting yourself in the buyer's shoes as well, just to kind of feel out what you would want if you were in that situation.
Tristin, I have a question.
Yes.
So I'll have an open house and I'll have like, yes, 7 leads. This is amazing. And then I email them all and like nothing. And it's just really frustrating to convert them from, we get along, we hit it off. Like there's great conversation. I always have cookies and wine at my open houses. And, someone that I'm so sure will not respond to my email. And again, I'm not that pushy person either. I hate to be that pushy person. But I mean, is there any tactics or any type of a mindset that you would recommend in these types of scenarios? Because I just keep hitting a wall with converting these leads to past the open house point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely a tough market. I will say that off the bat. Like it's buyers are flaky. There's a lot of them out there, and buyers are very, very flaky because they feel like they can go any which way at this point. I've experienced it too. I did an open house the other day. I got talking to this lady. We got talking about, market, interest rates. She said, wow, I'm so impressed. You don't know all your numbers. She goes, wow, that's so great. Like, I'll definitely reach out. And I, emailed, called her, texted her, emailed again to follow up, and nothing. So, I mean, it does happen. It's an unfortunate thing in this market that buyers are super flaky and they feel like they have to pick up the crop because they know it's a buyer's market and they know they can go to any open house and meet any agent. And maybe that's the mindset they have, is if they work with the listing agent, they will get a deal. And we can't change that. But I would suggest, instead of just emailing people, make sure you pick up the phone and call them too. Because some people, it could go into their junk mail. They're not good at checking their email. They're not us. We're salespeople. We check our email, our junk mail, our other email, our phone, or text messages every single day. If we get a random call from something that says likely spam, I'm still picking it up because you don't know who it could be. It could be, some person that might actually be wanting to purchase a property, right? So we have to put ourselves into their shoes and remind ourselves that not everyone checks their email religiously the way that we probably do. So I'd say just pick up the phone, give them a call, leave a message, and then if they don't answer, and send a follow-up text message too. I know even Samita was saying at her Thursday things, they were doing video text. So they would take a video and send that as a text. And that way it's more face to face and more personable. And a lot of times you might get a better response from that.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't really do the calling, so I guess I should get on the phone.
Yeah, no, and it's just even just for your own sake. I know we can all kick ourselves for, not thinking we got 7 leads and nothing comes out of it. But if you know you did everything you could, whether that's emailing, call, leave a voicemail, send a text, send a video text, email again, call one more time, then at least you know that you did everything you could to try to get something out of that. And then you can go to bed knowing that it's just a flaky buyer that just wanted to tell you what you wanted to hear at that open house.
Thank you.
But yeah, speaking of you bringing wine and cookies to all your open houses, on Thursdays, whenever we have a new listing, Barb and I, our team always does like a wine and cheese open house for the evening for the neighbors. It's like a really cool way to just invite the neighbors to an exclusive open house, door knock it beforehand. Great way to people actually will talk to you when you knock on the door and say, hey, do you want to come to our wine and cheese open house? And then you can also get their emails that way because you say, well, we do them a lot. So if we have another listing coming up, would you like to be on our wine and cheese email list? So we do that every time. It's fun. It's a great way to meet the neighbors. It's not necessarily about selling the house. Yes, it can happen. Neighbors do want to find their friends, family, people they actually want to live next door to them, right? People always have a person in mind that they want to live in that neighborhood. So sometimes you do find buyers that way. But again, it's great for us too. Great way for us to show how we stage a home, how we market a home, what we do for sellers. And if they ever want to, sell their home, we are the experts in the area. We've sold other homes, and this is what we do to make your home stand out in a market, especially in a market like this. And it's just a fun way. People will come. It's a good turnout usually, and it's a great opportunity to door knock as well. And then obviously after the house sells, it's also a great opportunity to door knock afterwards to let them know what it did sell for, and they already know you at that point because they've met you from your first newsletter that you door knocked, and they met you at the neighbor's open house, and then they get to see you again when the house has sold. But yeah, speaking of door knocking, it is a great way to door knock in a way that's less intimidating. I know door knocking can be kind of intimidating at times when we don't really, we're just talking about the market and people like to shove the door in our face because they think they know everything about real estate. But if you do have an upcoming open house, we can door knock the street, surrounding streets, within that little neighborhood and invite people to the weekend open house as well. I usually try to keep the neighbors open house either the one street or maybe one street, depending how big the street is. The one street and maybe one beside it or behind it. That way you're not having a crazy amount of people come, but you can still door knock before and after your public open house to invite people to that as well. Just another great way to touch point with people, invite them, try to get more people through. I even remember a family reunion, people talked about door knocking the houses next door and across the street to let them know that you're having an open house and that there may be more traffic on the roads and that you're apologizing beforehand just because you just try to be like the nice real estate agent, just giving them forewarning. There might be more traffic, there might be more cars parked, but it's only for the 2 hours that you're hosting the open house. So there's great ways just to talk to people from open houses as well. And I personally love open houses. Like they're my favorite way to lead generate. I do door knock. I don't love door knocking the way I like doing open houses because I find when you have open houses, it's all warm leads that are coming in. You're not doing the cold leads. You're not talking to people that have no interest in moving or thinking about real estate or anything. You're talking to people that have come to you because they have either thought about moving, are intrigued about what's going on in the market, or have a family or friends that may want to get into the neighborhood as well. So it's a lot easier to break the ice with those kind of people, and it's a lot easier to find clients that are going to be transacting in the next 3 to 6 months versus people that might not be transacting for another year plus, right? So that's why I love open houses. I try to do them every single week. I try to get at least like one buyer lead or one seller lead from every open house. Yeah, that's can be a little bit exaggerated at times, but if you go in with that mindset, you're definitely more likely to come out with something. Anyone online have any questions or anything?
Yeah, I have a few.
Yeah, for sure, Sue.
So you're in a hot neighborhood doing listings. Have you been doing any kind of I've got a listing I'm doing this weekend. It's very hard to get traffic through. The listing's been on the market for a while. I've done door knocking. I've done Facebook advertising. I've done social media. I think people most see it from MLS, but it's any tips for maybe a listing where you're trying to do everything to get it sold and the open house maybe is not the hottest thing out there to get people in?
That is tough. I know in this market, it's definitely a tougher situation than it has been maybe in the past, just with, where things are and how buyers feel about certain things. I know you, Sue, are a pro, so I'm sure you have tried everything I could possibly suggest. But I would say just, again, maybe, like you said, you put the signs out. I think the best way to get people in is through just putting out the notice on like realtor.ca. Are there any other houses in the neighborhood that might be doing an open house that you could maybe collaborate with those agents and have them push all the people that come to theirs into yours, and you could kind of vice versa do that? Sometimes that's helpful.
That's a great idea.
Just kind of being kind of collaborative in this kind of market is sometimes what we need is other people advocating for our listings while we advocate for theirs to kind of send traffic to both ways.
Yep.
And then, social media, I know that could be a good way to do it as well. And just putting out extra signs if you have them. I know signs only work so well, but more eyes can mean more people might come through. Does anyone else on TV land have any questions or any input they'd like to bring?
I'm curious
Yeah.
about something.
Okay.
For actually, it's very basic. So
I love it.
Open house, like if you were to have a checklist, whether it's a real checklist or like just what you do to prepare, what would it be?
So beforehand, like let's say the Thursday or Friday before, I just like to make sure I have all my stuff. I go over everything. If it's my listing, I probably already know everything off the top of my head. But if it's not, like if it's one of Barb's listings or it's another team members or someone from the offices, I like to make sure I have a copy of the home inspection report if they've done that. That way I know what's going on in the house. And that way I understand if there's anything that might come up, if someone might ask a question about X, Y, and Z, especially if it's an older home, they might ask about the roof or the furnace or all that kind of stuff. And I'd like to at least have an idea of what's going on in the home. That way I can answer most questions. I also like to get any sort of seller's checklist I might be able to get from the agent, whether that entails when the roof was done, if roughly how much utilities cost, when any updates were done, and just any of those little details that I might not otherwise know about the home just by looking at the MLS. And then again, just going over the MLS, memorizing things like property taxes. If it's a condo, what's the condo fee? What does that include? What kind of amenities are in the building? If it's a condo, I try to get there a little bit early. Maybe I can explore the amenities a little bit beforehand, see where the gym is, see where there's a rooftop pool if you're downtown. Just know if there's visitor parking, which there should be. And just like kind of know those kind of things. That way you're a little bit more knowledgeable when people come in. It doesn't catch you off guard. Again, we're not going to be able to answer every single question, especially if it's not our own listing. But it's just wanting to feel as confident as possible going in. That way, if someone does ask a question, you don't feel like, oh gosh, I read that beforehand kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So I do like to have that. I like to get my sign-in sheet ready. I know a lot of people like to do the new like iPad sign-in or the QR code sign-in. I'm so old school. I did buy an iPad just for this, and I still can't figure out how to use that to get people to I literally bought an iPad for that, and I have no idea how to use it, which makes me sound super old. I like pen and paper because I just find it's just easier for everyone. Sometimes you get older people and they can't figure out the iPad. But just as long as you have a method in place for getting information. And I think the goal is to get as much information as possible. And that's, name, first name, last name, email, phone number, and then again, just ask if they want to know how much the home is worth. I'm sorry, it sells for. And it's just a matter of just trying to entice them to put that down. So that's what I said again. I try to hold stuff back. That way, it's not like I just come in with everything and they can just walk away and I don't really need you. I'll just call my aunt's best friend's son to help me buy this house. So it's just like making yourself feel like the experts. They feel very comfortable working with you, but also making sure that there's a reason that they do want to leave their contact information behind. But yes, again, just come as prepared as possible if you can. I know we're all super busy, but it's just little things like understanding the details of them. Are they holding offers? When's offer date if they're holding offers? You know, kind of have an idea maybe in your head of some comparables. I know I've done it in the past. I haven't done it as much recently, but I've brought like some other listings in the area that are comparable to the one that I have up. That way, if someone comes through, they're like, you know, I like the house, I like the area, but there's, you know, it's missing the third bathroom, or it's, you know, it's not renovated enough, or, you know, I don't like that it doesn't have a garage. Then you can be like, oh, well, there's also this one, and this one that are also for sale in the neighborhood. This one is more renovated, a little bit more pricey, but it's got the updates that you don't need to do. This one has the garage and the third bathroom, and this one, you know, has 3 bathrooms and a garage. Maybe not as updated, but the price is right. If you guys want to go check out any of these after the open house, I'd be happy to, you know, schedule some viewings. I'm free at 4:30 and can take it all free at that point. I mean, it does work. I've done it before. I've had people come through. There's a house for sale across the street, and they went through ours. They're like, well, what about that one? I said, well, I'm happy to show it to you. You guys are able to wait for 4:15. And they're like, oh yeah, for sure. So it does work, and it makes you seem very knowledgeable because you know what the other inventory in the neighborhood looks like. You know about it, and you understand the value, and you can kind of point out why something might be listed more, why something might be listed less, what kind of benefits kind of contribute to those pricing differences. And it can make you seem very knowledgeable, which can make people trust you more. And then regardless if they buy the house that you're open housing, or if they want to work with you for something else, you've got yourself another client. Anyone else got some questions or some comments? Has anyone had any interesting open house experiences they'd like to share? Don't want to TV land. How about you guys? Have you had any like cool or funny or weird open house experiences that make you go, oh, did I do something wrong? Or
Not that I can really think of.
Actually, never done an open house.
No?
Yeah.
Well, I like them. I mean, at the end of the day, we all kind of work in neighborhoods that are pretty safe for the most part. So it's not like you're in like, you know, middle of nowhere, Detroit or something like that doing an open house. So I think that's why, like, I really do like them because it is for the most part warm leads, especially in the neighborhood that Barb and I really do a lot of our business in. I've lived in that neighborhood for like 10 years, and I've worked in it for the past 4. So when you really get to know it, you get to see the same neighbors all the time too. So people see, oh my gosh, hi Tristin, how are you? I'm like, it's a really nice like feeling because they really get to see us as the experts. Oh, perfect.
Is it happening today?
Yes, we're having open house, but we'd love to have you join us.
Wait, is it at 2 o'clock?
It was 1. Oh, well, perfect, Samita. You didn't miss anything. You can jump in. I'm sure you got some stuff to share.
I was just like, what's happening in the, I thought they had the meeting up. Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to interrupt, but, I just came to put my stuff in the.
Well, we're talking about open houses. If you'd like to jump in and share any expertise you might have, you're an open house.
You're the expert.
Just well, Samita's also fabulous at open houses. So I'd love to hear if you have any fun tips that you could share with everyone. We were talking about converting leads and like how you can get people to respond. And I know this market's pretty tough and people are really flaky in it, but it's just really following up and making sure that we contact people on email and phone and text. And I mentioned how you were doing your video text messages, which you said were very well responded to.
Yeah. I mean, there's, to be honest, like if I'm being completely vulnerable, I've been doing lots of different things. And I don't know if it's just the set of buyers that I have that I'm interacting with. They'll ghost me, but then I continue to harass them in like a very, non-creepy way, of course, but like I'm not stopping. So I do make videos, which I will get a response. They're like, oh, it's so nice to see you, right? Like, or something. And then, so I just want them talking. Yeah. So one thing that I have, that I'm actually actively working on is like my emails, my follow-up emails tend to be long.
Yeah.
And now I've shortened them to like 3, maybe 4 sentences.
Oh, nice.
So I don't
Short
know,
and
try
sweet.
that, you know?
Okay, so it's less for them to read and they don't look at it, they go, oh my God, I have to
Yes.
read all this. Okay, let's go back to this later. And then they leave it unread and don't come back kind of thing.
Yes.
So I've been guilty of that too. I do leave kind of long emails. I like to include all my information plus my little blurb about, well, if this one's not for you, then maybe I can get you set up on a list. But I have also been trying to short it mine because I do think that in this kind of market, you want to make things as concise and easy to process as possible. So people do want to talk to you and they will talk to you.
Right. Yes, exactly. And another one of the things I've been doing, and I've actually gotten two responses back, is I'll send them the active, like based on where they're looking at and what they're looking at. Like since I haven't sat down with them yet, it's just open help. So I'll just, the following week or something, I'm like, hey, I just thought of you because I saw a bunch of active listings in your area of preference, and here they are. So I'll send them no more than like 5 listings that are there, and then I'll also send them the sales as well.
That's very smart.
So and then I have gotten a response back. They're like, oh, thanks for the update, because they're, even though I have them on the drip and stuff, but sending them those that they actually look at, the 3 or 4 emails that you'll send that you think it's based on their criteria. They'll look at it because it's just tailored to them.
Yeah, exactly. And it's coming from you and it's more concise. And yeah, I think that's a really good point. It's just being consistent with people. Because like I was saying before, whether it's, they want to buy in the next 3 to 6 months or it's a year plus, as long as you're the one who's top of mind, they will reach out to you because they'll have, when they think real estate agent, they'll think Samita, they'll think Tristin, they'll think whoever, right? So because you're the one who's been constantly keeping in contact with them. Whether it's putting them on a smart plan, like I think you mentioned as well, or if it's just, those kind of quarterly calls just to say, hey, how you doing? How's the search going? I just thought I'd check in and see if you guys wanted to start taking a look at places in person. And I know it's easier said than done, and it is a tougher market. And I am finding it that myself, that people are a lot flakier than they were a couple of years ago. Even a couple months ago, if we're looking back into 2024, they'll all come in, they'll all want to work with you, and then there's only going to be a handful that actually do end up connecting with you. And I think it's just really honing into those people that do want to connect with you, because I mean, at the end of the day, we've only got so much energy for all of our clients. It's better spent on the people that we actually know will end up working with us. But yeah, no, I've found that also for myself. I don't know how everyone else feels, but when I'm working in maybe a lower price point, I find that I get better buyer leads because a lot of them don't have an agent because they are first time buyers. But that might just be me. I've worked in, I've done, Barb does a lot of listings like the $2 to $3 million range. I find a lot of those people are, on their second, third, whatever house because they've had to climb the real estate ladder to get there.
Yeah.
So they've had their agent that they worked with 3 times over. So a lot of the times the people that come in are loyal to someone that they've worked with. Not everyone. I've gotten leads from those homes that they haven't worked with an agent or not loyal to an agent. But I find that if I can't get a listing or an open house at something that's maybe under the $1.5 million mark, you're working with more first-time home buyers who may have a lot more questions, which can make you look way more like an expert and make them go, wow, they're so smart. They know what they're talking about. Oh, they can answer that question. They can answer that question. Oh, they make me feel so comfortable. And they might also not have someone that has helped them before. And when it's like that, I find that it's a lot, maybe just as my experience, a lot easier to get them to want to continue to talk with you and connect with you and work with you. But I'm not saying don't take higher listings and don't take higher opportunities for open houses. I'm just saying I find that that's something I found personally. I think it's just because there's a lot of first-time home buyers out there right now. Especially since they have changed the rules. So everything under $1.5 million, you don't have to put the 20% down. So I think that just opens the pool for people. There's a lot more people out there that are casually looking. And if they're casually looking, they might not have an agent, right? And if you can connect with those people, then they're going to stick with you because they know that you're there for them. You've answered all these questions. They're a little bit scared because they've never done this before. They feel comfortable with you. How are we doing in TD land? Anyone have any comments? Oh, okay. So, Samir, did you do an open house last weekend?
Yes.
Yes.
How did that go?
My schedule is like packed, so I'm like, wait, did I? I did, yeah. So I think it was a little bit slower for me. I had like 5 people come in, and they all had agents, and they all had agents, but then there was this one family that came in, or like the couple came in, and they said they don't have an agent, and and then we talked about it. They're like, yeah, let us know what the sale price is going to be for the house. And I was like, okay, sounds good. And then it turns out that it was their daughter who already has an agent that was buying. So I was like, oh, great. It just wasted my energy.
See, that's the lovely thing about real estate. You just never know what's going to
never
happen.
know.
It's always an interesting.
Yeah, but Tanya did Sunday.
Oh, nice. How did that go?
It was good. Well, there were 7 people that came through. 3 were just nosy neighbors who were like, oh, we know the owners and we want to just see what it looks like. There was one gentleman who I didn't really get to talk to because I had 2 other people in at the same time.
Horrible.
But he left me his email. He didn't leave his phone number, but he did tell me that he's going to sell his condo in the harborfront, and they're looking for a house because he's like, when the grandkids are over, it's just too small in a condo.
Yeah.
So I did send him an email. I haven't got anything back, but I did add him into the neighborhood, and I put harborfront so that he'll get listings. Hopefully he'll give me a call, but we'll see.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And where is this open house?
This was in East York on Salmon.
Oh,
It's
nice.
Candace's.
Nice. That's good.
So I'm gonna do it this Saturday. Sandra's doing it Sunday, so hopefully we get in. And I also door knocked the street beside,
Good for you.
and I made like little flyers just saying welcome, or you're invited to our open house.
Yeah.
And one person actually came
Oh,
that I
that's
door
awesome.
knocked. Yeah,
That's awesome.
they were just a neighbor, but
But you know what? Sometimes those are the best people to meet because
Yeah.
if you can establish relationship with the neighbors,
yeah.
you can be like, oh, keep update on the sales on the street and around the neighborhood. In 5 years, they might want to sell. You'll be the one that they call.
Well, and even one guy, he was like, wow, he's like, I like that you're doing this. He's like, thank you. And I was like, yeah, and I gave my business card with it. I was like, give me a call if you have any questions.
And
So
I've had like
seeing
I've
things like that.
done
is good.
stuff like that. Like I try to talk to the neighbors when they come in too, especially like I did one on Virginia Avenue and the neighbors came in and I got talking with her. I'm like, well, if you ever need any recommendations she's talking all this bullshit in her house. Like, she's like, oh, next is landscaping. I'm like, well, if you ever need any recommendations for like landscapers or whatever, like blah, 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 any contractor, happy to, send that over to you. And she and I have been in contact since. So like I send her an email every time something goes for sale on the street or something sells on the street, or I sent her, Easter card, and like I just try to put them in my system that way. And I've been really trying to do like these cards, not just for open house people, but for people I've connected with.
Yeah.
It's just like, because it's such a weird market. I'm just trying to touch base with everyone and stay top of mind for everyone. So I made like,
It is
I'm gonna do
hard,
Easter cards, Mother's Day cards for those I know are mothers, Father's Day cards for those I know that are fathers, and just try to do like little touches that are, and people love. I've gotten so like, I know this is not about open house, but people love handwritten mail. They don't get it, and when I send that out, I get messages or emails like, "Oh, thank you so much for the card."
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
Christmas cards.
Yeah,
I've had so many
and it's
people, they're
people
like,
that
"You
I-
forget handwritten cards anymore." So yeah,
Exactly. So I just try to over communicate with my clients or my people I've met. And again, I put the people that I've made a connection with. I don't put everyone that I met at open house. It's just the ones I actually talked to and made a connection with into my database. That way I do continue to keep in contact with them, whether it's that house or another house or whatever. But it's just a matter of just trying to. I always think if you can just find some way to connect with people, then that's the biggest thing. And I know it's a weird market. I know some days are busier than others with open houses. The weather can make a big difference. We've had the weirdest May, so it's been hot, cold, rainy, wet.
Yeah.
It felt like October last week. It felt like summer yesterday. So it's such a weird time, but you never know what's going to happen. And I think it's best to put yourself out there, even if you don't think that you might get anything. If you go in with the mindset that you will get business and that you are putting yourself in the universe to get more of it business, it really does make a difference in terms of even just the way you carry yourself when you're hosting that open house.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys have gone through this already. You may have, but I'm just curious. Like, what do you do when you have a lead? Somebody's like, "Yes, I need to sell my house," or okay, let's just focus on work. I'm looking for a house and I don't have an agent.
Okay, what do I do?
What do you do?
If I'm at, if you're looking for that house, obviously say, I'll get you all the information. Let's have a call and let's talk about, strategy. But so last week, for example, I didn't know it was got 2 leads that came through that both needed to sell a house and buy a house, neither of them had an agent.
Yeah.
So for both of them, I said, well, when you buy and sell with us, we always give a discount on the sell side. I know not everyone's going to do that, but that's what our team does. So,
How much of a discount do you guys get?
usually 0.5%. Like we should list it for 2. If we find our own buyer, we'll do it for 1.5 on the list side. But I mean, that's just something that Barb and I always do it. I don't really know why, but that's just what we've always done. But people get excited. Oh, that makes sense. Oh, that's great. And then I'm like, well, if you'd like me to come by and give you an idea of what your house would be worth in today's market, it makes a big difference for me to see it in person. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. We would love that. So then, that last Sunday, I got 2 leads. I went to one CMA yesterday. I'm meeting her again after this to show her the house that we looked at the open house again. And then I got a CMA on Sunday to go right after the open house. So I just said, and it was all right in the same area. They're like, why don't you just come by right after, take a look and let me know. So.
Okay, so I just have a question.
Yeah.
So you booked that appointment at the open house?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the first Sunday I booked that. I think I did. For this one, I didn't. I followed up with her. I booked a call with her. So the one that I met. So there was 2. One I booked at the open house. They came in at like 3:40 or 3:45 or something.
To go see to give them a CMA.
Yes, they came into the open house at like 3:45 on Sunday.
Got it.
They looked around. The only ones that were there were talking. We made a connection, and then they were like, "Oh well, I said, well, if you want me to come by and see your house, I can come by on like Monday." He goes, "Well, tomorrow's really busy for us." He goes, "Are you free after this?" I said, "Absolutely." He goes, "Well, why don't you just come by right after this? It's like 5 minutes down
And
the
then
road."
what about the one that?
The other one, the one I'm going to see today. So she came in twice. She came in Saturday, she came back Sunday. So she came back Sunday. I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're back." She said, "Yeah, I had to show my husband." She was in with her kids on Saturday. So, get talking a little bit more, getting her some more answers to her questions. And then I said, "You know what? I'll send you over what I have. I just have to double check. It's Matt's listing. It wasn't my listing. So I didn't have like all the information." I said, "Let me double check about the survey. Let me double check about the ravine audit, and I'll get you all that." I said, "Why don't you 2 talk tonight? And then why don't we book a call for Monday? That way we can talk about next steps." And she's like, "Oh, that would be great." So I'm like, "Well, what time Monday works? Like after work?" She goes, "Yeah, let's say 6. I said, "Okay, 6. So I called her Monday, and of course she doesn't answer. Of course, another flaky buyer. Here I am. So I'm like, okay, well, you know what? Give her the benefit of the doubt. I sent her a text and, "Hey, just wanted to let you know, I try to give you a call, left your voicemail. I know things come up. I know people get busy. If you want to give me a call, I'm free anytime." She texted me back about maybe half hour later, was like, "I'm so sorry, I got caught up in a meeting, blah, blah, blah." She's like, I said, "Okay, no worries." I said, "Do you want me to come by sometime and see your house?" She goes, "Yeah, that would be great." So then I was like, "Okay, how about tomorrow?" And so I had her booked for 2 p.m. on Tuesday. And of course, she called me last night. She's like, "I can't do today. Something came up." I'm like, "Oh my God."
But this is the buyer, right?
Yes, the buyer. And I'm just going down this spinning loop of this is like a complete fake thing, right? Because that's just what happens with these buyers these days. But I eventually rescheduled for yesterday night at 6 p.m. and I went in. She seems quite serious with a great talk. Like she wants to sell. She'd have to sell or potentially lease her house. She can't get the number she wants to buy the other house. So we're going to go back and see the one that she saw at the open house for a 3rd time today after this.
So you're booking appointments at the open.
I try if I can, because that's when I have them in person, and that's when I can lock it in, and I'm not going to lose them at that
That
point.
is something I'm not doing currently, and I think that's what I need to start doing. Marietta.
Oh, sorry, Marietta.
Yeah.
Oh, no worries. Shamita asked my question again. I was just gonna say, like, is it a habit of yours now to ask people on the spot for a phone call to schedule something?
Absolutely. I'd rather get them when I have them in person. They're face to face with me, and I can get it locked in when they can't run away or not answer their phone or ignore my emails. So
Okay, you can also tell then if it's if they're being really serious.
exactly.
Say, never mind, we'll call you when we need you. Or
Exactly. And I always ask, "Hey, are you working with an agent currently?" Before I, once I kind of sense that they're serious, I'll say, "Hey, are you working with an agent?" They'll be like, no, not right now. Okay, great. Well, if you'd like me to come by, I know the area very well. Like this is the area I do 95% of my business in. I'd love to give you an idea about what your house would be worth in today's market. Are you free after this open house, or are you free tomorrow? And then kind of book it in right there while I have them right in front of me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people will just not answer the phone. They'll ignore your email, and then it's better just to, like you said, feel it out too. Are these guys actually serious, or are they just pretending that they like the house because they don't want to tell you they don't?
Yeah,
So
I
for
wish I did that for mine, because I have solid conversations, but, you know,
Also in the moment too, right? Sometimes it just doesn't feel right to ask them in the moment. Sometimes you got other
no,
people.
if I thought of it, I would have asked. I have no shame.
Yeah.
As long as it's shame in the sense of like, as long as it's, they're willing to work,
Yeah.
talk to me, then I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
it gives me the in, you know?
It's just sometimes I think too, like if we've got like 5 other people there, it can be a little bit trickier to ask them right in front of everyone. But because you don't want to turn off the other people because you don't know which one's your buyer. So I can totally understand if you're in that kind of situation where it's a little bit stickier to want to pull up the, hey, can I come over to your house kind of thing. Unless they're the only ones who seem interested, then I 100% just ask them.
I have another question.
Yeah.
Sorry if I'm asking, because
I
I
love
like
that
these
you
are
ask.
actively like my concerns. And so do you have like a printout of like times, or are you just going off of like basically just kind of, you know, like do you actually have like your appointment? Like
No.
no, okay. I don't know. I don't know what people
I
do,
just,
so I'm just
I just say if I can get them in, when are you available?
Okay, yeah,
And then
fine.
I will make my schedule work. I can't do that time for some reason, or I say, or I could do the other one. Are you available tomorrow at,
right.
yeah, at this time or this time
Got
kind of
it.
thing?
Okay.
Or, and then I'm like, no, but I could do this time. And if it works, then it works, like kind of thing, right? So, but I just try to make it so I'm not being like, I don't necessarily have like a printout with, okay, well, if you want to book, sign up here kind of thing,
Got
right?
it. Okay.
Because I like to make things more organic than feeling pushed.
Push.
That's more or less the way I like to do
Totally.
things.
Marietta has a question.
Yes.
Yeah, me and Samita won't leave you. We won't let you get bored, just so you know.
I love it. Good.
I'm asking this because you work with Barb and she's Barb, right? Compared to us new solo agents, like, do you have a system? Like, I know Deb mentioned in one of the recent Tackle Tuesdays, she has like a 7 days after the open house, each day a phone call or a message or an email, I believe. Is that right, Samita? But do you have a system in place on how to follow up? For how long and how do you do it? Yeah.
My system probably is not nearly as good as Deb's because Deb is a superstar at systems, and Barb did give me that printout of Deb, so I'm like, this is gold. I should probably follow this. I'm more of like, I just like to kind of go by what I do, which is I send an email the night after the open house. So I'll have my list of people. I'll get home. I'll get on. I'll send an email. Thanks for coming. Here's the information I promised I would share with you. And if it's not this one, it might be something else. Let me know what you're looking for. My real estate expertise and knowledge are always free to you as a buyer. Send that off. That way they have everything. And then the next day, if I don't hear back from them, give them a call. Hey, this is Tristin Thompson from Keller Williams. We just met at the open house at ABC Street yesterday. And I just wanted to follow up and see if you had any questions. Wanted to make sure you got my email that I sent. And yeah, I'm here to help however I can. See if they don't answer, I leave a message. Then I send a text to follow up that message. And then
When do you follow up?
I
Right
would-
away?
Yeah, right away. If they don't answer, I would just send a text right away. Better to do it when it's right on top of their mind. They just missed a call from my number. Maybe for some reason my name didn't pop up on the screen. They don't know who the 647-567-3338 number is. I get it. If I wasn't a real estate agent, I probably wouldn't pick up a random number either. So then I'd send a text with my name on it. I also read somewhere that if you send a text before you call them and you sign it off with your name, then it's more likely that your name will pop up on the phone screen, like maybe Tristin Thompson kind of thing, because you signed off with that. So maybe you want to send a text message before you call them. That way your name pops up on the screen. They're like, oh, okay, it's not some guy trying to sell me that cleaning, right?
Oh,
so
like send a text before?
I've
Yeah.
read that somewhere that if you send a text with and like sign off like Samita Dillon, and then you call them after, it'll pop up on their phone maybe Samina Dillon if for some reason your caller ID doesn't already pop up on their phone. That way they know who's calling them. But yeah, I try to keep it very consistent. So email right after open house, and then I wouldn't call them on the Sunday if it was a Saturday open house. I'd wait till the Monday to do the call follow up.
So email and text.
Email and text, and then call, and if they don't
On
answer,
Sunday.
yeah, and then, so let's say do Saturday open house, I'll still email them Saturday night, that way they have all the information. And then Sunday, same thing, and then Monday, call everyone, and if they don't answer, text right away to follow up. And then again, I probably give them, to the end of the day, next day, probably like you, Smita, don't give up, keep, send another email, just make sure it didn't go, I want this to go to spam, just double checking you got all the information. I try not to over bombard, but I also want, like in this kind of market, you do have to be persistent in order to.
So after your Monday follow-up, and let's say you don't hear from them, what's next?
I'd probably send another email on Tuesday, see what
So the
happens.
next- oh, the
Yeah,
next day.
Yeah, and then maybe wait a few days and call them again and just see if they have any interest, or if it's an offer night situation, call them the day before offer and say, hey, just following up, we have offers tomorrow. Just thought I'd touch base and see if you still had an interest in 123 Main Street. If so, I'd love to have a quick chat about strategy with you.
And would you put them, sorry, Samita,
No, go ahead.
would you put them on a drip for that area just because you're
I probably would if I had some sort of connection with them. If they're literally just ignoring me and I didn't really have a great chat with them, I probably wouldn't.
What if you did have a great chat with them and that they don't have an agent and you haven't heard from them?
That's a good question. I probably would set them up on a email drip, see what happens. They might actually respond. I mean, stranger things have happened. I've had people reach out to me from the blue. Oh, you sent this to me, and we had one conversation, and then I set them up on a drip, and then they'll be forward to me. What do you think about this one? I probably would. Once they do is unsubscribe from you. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't hurt my feelings. So
Another question.
Yeah.
Do you have an email campaign that it goes anyone?
that's a good question. I mean, I'm horrible with commands, so that's not me, the one that you should be asking that question to, which is a really bad thing to say.
Or just
but
what bar, do you guys do
We
that?
do. Ruth does something for the team. I'm not 100% sure what. But personally, I actually use this company called VIP something. I'd have to double check what it's called. It's not cheap, but I love it because it's basically, Amanda Peabart suggested this to me actually. It's a monthly email that goes out to whoever is in your database, whoever's on your email list, whoever you want to put into this. I think it's $200 a month. It's not cheap, but I find it worth it. And they'll send out an email. You can kind of tailor the email, but it's a very generic email about what's happening in the market. It might be talk about mortgages, it might talk about sales, blah, 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 whatever. That's not really the most interesting part.
So you don't create.
No, the company, you pay the company to do this.
And it's called VIP.
IP services or something. I can double check the name for you. But so then the best part of that is every month there'll be a question at the end, and there's a grand prize that is out of every single person that uses the service. So your clients are unlikely to win the grand prize, but it does happen. So maybe a coffee maker, or, an iPhone or something like that. But every single month, regardless of who wins the grand prize, there's a gift card that is won to someone in your database. So for them to win it, they have to answer whatever the monthly question is. And you can respond to those questions too. But it keeps you top of mind, which is why I love it. And then they go on the answer, and then there's a random draw for whoever wins this gift card. But then you can go in and change it if you want to be strategic about who actually wins the gift card. So let's say you kind of just talk to this guy at the open house, and well, if he won this month's gift card, maybe he'd definitely want to work with me, or he'd feel more inclined to working with me. So I really love that service. That's just something I started using a couple months ago. And I find I've got pretty good engagement. It allows me to stay top of mind with clients I've used in the past that I don't necessarily get to talk to every single day.
And is it just one touch? Meaning it's just once a month?
Yeah, once a month.
Okay.
It's not crazy.
Your entire database.
Oh yeah, just whoever, and you can add people into it consistently. So I probably have 200 people in there, and not everyone engages in it.
I get a lot of good response.
I do. I get at least, the thing is, as long as I get 10 people responding, I feel pretty good about it. And usually it's the same 10 people, but there are people that I have bought with me, sold with me. have leased with me, may buy in the future kind of thing. And these are people I want to stay on top of their mind. And I think it's a great way is me trying to give them something for free. Like,
Do you have, do they do anything else for you? Like other emails and stuff? Like,
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's just the one monthly one. And then you're basically paying them to do all the work for you. So you don't have to think about the email. You don't have to think about who buying the gift card. You don't have to think about who wins the gift card. You don't have to think about how to distribute that gift card to fit women.
creating it altogether.
It's not cheap. I'm not saying it's cheap, and it's something I'd suggest for everyone. I just personally like it because it's something I can do and I don't have to think about, but I'm also staying on top of everyone's mind in that kind of sense. It is a big expense, and it's something I have considered in this market, whether it's worth doing it, but I figured it's best for me to do something consistently where my clients know that they can get something of value, but yet they're still remembering that it's coming from me, who is their real estate agent. So in the future, when they do want to transact again, I will always be the one that they think of, because they get those emails, which is giving them something. They get my cards that I send every holiday or whatever, and they get the whatever the emails Ruth sends out with the new listings that we have coming up as well.
Okay. I think Marietta
Oh,
has. her
sorry,
hand
Marietta.
up.
Sorry, my back's to you.
No?
For some reason, right before me, Asmita asked you the question I wanted to ask.
It's like so in sync. I love it.
Yeah.
I
I also
was asking about the response. I was curious to know if you get response, and it's interesting how the company you pay actually they give the price on your behalf. You don't have to add for that,
No.
right? They do it.
the price.
They do it all. It's an e-gift card. It's not, you don't have to do anything. I go on though to make sure the person that wins is someone I want to win. I don't want it to go to some
Yeah.
random person that I don't really remember who they are, and I added them in the database because
No,
I
you
did
want
at
your
least
new
with them.
lead. You
to-
want your new potential.
So
new
I
lead.
want, like the last one I did was this lady I met at an open house last year who I had a great relationship with, but we haven't really maybe seen each other in a year or so. She kind of put a pause on her search. So I made her win. She sent me a nice message after, oh my gosh, thank you so much, Tristin. I hope you enjoy the weather. Like, let's grab a coffee sometime soon. And like, it's
And
just a
did
nice
you-
way.
Like, did you transact with?
I
her?
know I've never transacted with her, but
She's
like,
a-
she's
she's
a
nurturing.
potential. She does want to
Yeah,
buy and sell in the future. It's
Right.
just someone I wanted to make sure that I still am having a good relationship with. And
Yeah.
like, that's a great talking point as well.
We're here till 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I have another, okay, Marietta, you go, and then I have another.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry, please. I have a lot of questions, but
Yeah.
if you
No,
guys
I love
please
questions.
just add.
Me and you,
Oh,
we
another
just
dragon.
learning. Yeah, I love learning from other people that know more than me. The content of the emails, like, are you ever curious do you read them yourself to see what it is?
Sometimes if I have time, usually I trust it. I mean, it's just information about the market. It's created by a professional company, and it's for mortgage brokers, real estate agents, and like minded. And when you go in, you put in that you're a real estate agent, so they cater it towards that kind of clientele. I like that being my little thing that I don't have to think twice about. Yes, sometimes I do go in and read it and make sure you're like, hey, I like it. You can also change the question so you can cater it to like, okay, well, maybe I want to learn something about these people. I mean, sometimes the questions are silly, like, oh, if you have a dream house anywhere in the world, where would it be? You know,
Right.
like, which is fine. As people are engaging, I can go, oh my gosh, I would also love to have a house in the south of France kind of thing. What a great decision. But you can go in there and cater it yourself. Like, oh, would you rather, pay off your mortgage or have a faster or have a lower down payment? Or are you missing some sort of professional in your wheelhouse, like a mortgage broker, a financial advisor, or maybe something else? And then you can, if they say, yeah, I don't have a financial advisor, then that can be a talking point. Oh, okay, well, I have a great financial advisor. I'm happy to get you in contact with him. Or, oh no, I don't have a great mortgage broker. Okay, let me get you connected with someone. And it can be very, very intentional, the questions that you ask.
Yeah.
Again, that's just something I guess I've been using it since about the new year, and I really liked it.
If you don't mind
Yeah.
sharing that.
Yeah, for sure. I just can't. It's VIP something. I just
Yeah.
can't remember
That's
what it
okay.
is.
I have another question. So let's say if somebody comes into your open house, they want to sell their house and they don't have an agent.
Yeah.
And let's say you weren't able to book any time or meeting with them at the date because they were like, we don't know, we're
Yeah.
going away for vacationing and we'll maybe touch base later. What would you do?
I probably first do it. I said, send an email. I know we mentioned, like, send them the
Let's say
information.
you did all of those things and you still haven't heard
Well,
anything.
if they're
but
on
the convers-
vacation, then maybe that's question number one. They might not be responding because they're on vacation.
Yeah, so
for a
let's
week.
say now they're
So
back.
they're back. I would probably again give them a call, and just keep the cycle going. Keep connecting with them. Look them up on Geo Warehouse. Send them a handwritten letter saying, "Oh, it was so nice to meet you. I would love to come by someday. And then just throw a little $5 gift card or a scratch ticket in there too. Just be like, really appreciate your time. I look forward to seeing your house and give you an idea of what it's worth in today's market."
So if you know their address.
Yep.
What are some of the things you do? You would mail out.
I've mailed out thank you cards for people I've met at open houses, like neighbors. People I met who were knocking me up on thank you cards too as well.
What else would you do for that lead? Because it's a hot lead, potential hot
You
lead.
just go knock on their doors, Anita.
Yeah.
You're good at that.
No, I know. I'm asking you. I heard.
No, why not? If it's a hot lead, go be like, oh, it's just the neighborhood. And like, I was driving by and I know this is like, I was doing a little bit of preliminary research on your property. So I got your address from our titles our titles
No, let's
website.
say you have their address because
They left it. Then yeah, go knock on my door. Why not? Just go, oh, it's in the neighborhood. I just thought I'd stop by and say hi. I wanted to give you this thank you card. And I also just thought, maybe now would be a great time for me to pop on in and give you an idea of what the house is worth in today's market. I've already done my comps. I looked at them last week right after the open house. And I just wanted to put some eyes on the property so I can give you an accurate idea of what the place is worth. They might be like, wow, this girl,
So what?
she knows what she's doing.
Okay, so I know we're crunched for time, and I can go on and on with all my questions, but I hope this is helpful for all.
Yeah, no, I love it.
So what if the open house was like 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And you've only had one response from them being like, "Thank you for the update."
Yeah.
And it's a hot lead, and you have their address.
Yeah.
And it's been it's not like you just met them last week.
Yeah.
Right?
I
You
would
met
just
them.
go.
You would just go.
Oh, why not?
Maybe that's
Just
what I
use
need
your
to do.
excuse, like, hey, I was just in the neighborhood. I thought I'd stop by and say hi. I mean, I love talking face to face more than on the phone or over email, and sometimes it's easier just to, be in front of each other.
Okay.
In this market, you gotta be aggressive.
Yeah.
Is it by any chance VIP incentive campaigns?
Oh, that's probably what it is.
Okay,
I
because
can double check, Marianne. That's probably it. I don't think there's very many of them. It's a black writing, like black VIP.
okay.
It probably is that. I'll double check.
The black writing is the VIP club.
Yeah, and it's in black, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
that would be it.
okay.
Do you use any of the mailing out services like from people do like Canada Post and
I don't like Barb does for like flyers and stuff for like VIP open houses and
Right.
stuff. The last time I did one, I just door knocked. I figured it was a good way to get out and knock on some doors, meet some neighbors, and just drop off something that might actually be of value to them.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yeah.
Your VIP open houses, the ones that not VIP, like exclusive open houses that you do on Thursday.
Yeah.
Do you recommend doing it on Thursday or Friday?
I say Thursday, especially now that we're in the summertime, people go up to the cottages, right? People do things on the weekends, so I find Thursday is kind of like it's baby Friday, right? You're almost at the
Yeah.
weekend where people are like, okay, I can have a sip of wine, some cheese while I'm looking at a house.
Yeah.
But it's not Friday, especially in the summertime, just with people going up north, going to cottages, going away.
Yeah.
And we tend to do them more in the nicer weather than like in the dead of winter, just because people don't always come out in the dead of winter, and it doesn't always make sense to do it on a day when we've got this much snow, and people are definitely not going to hike through that just to go look at a house.
Yeah.
But I'd say Thursday nights are probably the best. We've done 5 to 7. I personally think 6 to 8 is better, just because people work till 5, right? Gives them time to.
6 to 8. Okay.
Yeah.
And what are some of the things you take?
We try to do like wine and cheese. So like I just go to Bruno's and get that little cheese board. They have them at Loblaws too, those kind of like pre-made ones. So it's nice and easy. You don't have to think about it. Bring some napkins, little cute, what do you call those? Toothpicks. And then, I do white wine, but I mean, lately we brought a red and a white.
So 2 bottles?
Yeah.
And you max it out. I remember Barb saying you
Max it out. You don't want people getting drunk, right? So you give them those little tiny little plastic cups that you get at Loblaws, the little ones with the stem. Just to give them a little sip. It's like a sip, right? It's not like we're here to party. We're just here to give
And
you
do
something
you
to feel
pour all the
exclusive.
drinks?
I do. So when they come in and say, hey, how are you? Like, nice to meet you. Can I offer you a glass of red or white wine? I'll tell me what they want. I'll pour it for them. They can go off, look at the home. They come back down, they're all happy. You ask them some questions and you get to know them, right?
And you
But
still get them to sign in.
I do, absolutely. Just because, they want to keep up to date what's happening. I always say that. You have vested interest in this neighborhood. We have vested interest in this neighborhood. We want to keep values as high as possible. We want to keep you in the know about what's happening in your neighborhood too. So, and most people are more than happy to sign in. They know you're not going to barn them, but they also want to know what the house sold for. I met someone at one that wanted to get an idea of who did the kitchen in the house. People like the nosy neighbors are like, well, what did these people do to their house, right?
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh my God, I love this kitchen. They're taking photos and they're like, who did it? I'm like, well, I'll find out. Leave your email and I'll follow up with you.
So do you, so you sign in, you offer them wine and stuff, and then they can pick their own snacks.
Yeah.
And then oh my God, it was tip of my tongue.
It's just let them go wander around. They'll come back down. They'll be happy after they have their glass of wine. They'll ask you questions about the house. They'll try to be just get to know them and have that conversation.
I just remembered. Do you door knock
I
prior to
I
Thursday?
do when it's my listing. We have Barb's neighbor, it's her farm, so everyone kind of knows her at this point. So we don't always door knock it, but we always drop off the flyers or have someone drop off the flyers. But let's say I'm doing it in a neighborhood that I don't necessarily always do, like when I had the Natalie Place listing, I went and door knocked that one because it's a small little street and it's so easy to do, and that those homes are all very similar that people are super curious about what's going on in their neighbor's house. And that's one thing about Toronto, not all homes are super similar. But there are definitely opportunities there.
Do you make flyers?
Yeah.
Or to do
The door knocking.
and what do you call it?
Just like a VIP neighbors only open house, something like that. VIP
Are you
open
able
house.
to send?
Yeah, Ruth has a whole bunch. I can ask her to
Just
send some over.
just an email.
Yeah.
Just the people who attended.
Yes, of course.
Not for anyone else. I'm gonna put that in the
Yeah.
group.
Absolutely.
Just so it gives me an idea because you guys have inspired me to do something for my upcoming listing. And I want to do that. That's why I had a ton of questions.
Oh, I love it. Also, Leo Venturini has an open house opportunity this weekend. If anyone wants it, it's in Scarborough, and just going to reduce the price. And he's relisting it as a new listing, so it could be a good opportunity if anyone wants it for the weekend, Saturday or Sunday or both. You can reach out to Leo.
Yeah. I have way too many birthday parties. That was amazing. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys.
We love you.
Well, thank you, Sunita. You came with some great questions, and so did everyone else. I appreciate everyone for coming out, and
Thank you.
it helps when there's people here.
Do your brokers open or?
I don't usually. I mean,
How do
I've
you
done
feel
them
about it?
before. I just don't find them that
Okay,
really
I have
that
another meeting.
helpful. I guess it
Okay.
depends on the area, but I've done them before, and I mean, they'll probably just do an agent inspection if they are curious on what's happening, right? So, I mean, it's totally up to you. I've known agents do them all the time. They usually choose to do them on gorgeous homes
Yeah.
versus something that maybe not. But I mean, if your house is vacant or your clients don't mind, I mean, it's kind of worth maybe trying to see, especially on the first week, just have a sneak peek. I don't know. Okay. Well, thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. It makes my life a lot more fun. I want to get people to talk to. Of course.